Before we kind of get going into some of the other, like, just other general topics that I want to discuss today, I did want to give my man's as a chance to talk about obviously what's going down with the Marvel Cinematic Universe in general. I know you had Deadpool and the Wolverine stuff, but I don't know what your take is on it. This Robert Downey Jr. thing and him playing Doom. I know there's been very divisive topic. I would love to know where you're at with it and give your insight.
Okay. RDJ, love the guy. Think he's great. Thought he absolutely deserved the Oscar in Oppenheimer. He put in a phenomenal performance in what was just an absolutely exemplary movie. He's the perfect casting for Tony Stark. I could never think of a better casting for Tony Stark in my life. Wonderful to see him on stage at San Diego Comic-Con. Why the fuck is he playing Doctor Doom?
Right there with you. Right there with you. Despise it. Despise it. And someone asked me, and before you continue on, but someone asked me this, I believe it was on one of the closeout streams that I did. It was a Saturday or Sunday that I did. And, you know, I tried to give it to him from different perspective, because I'm not invested the same way that I was in, let's say, 2017, 2018, as far as the Marvel Cinematic Universe is concerned. But if I gave you my perspective from that guy, he'd hate it. As in, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Not to say that there hasn't been some sort of reference of Doom trying to be Iron Man or vice versa. But, you know, if this is going to be sort of your Doom in this universe, you would think you would just create a Doom, which is a completely detached character from him. So I don't know what this is going to be. Is this going to be a variant of Stark, or is it just going to be Robert Downey Jr. Playing Doom? Either way, not a fan. Not a fan at all. I think it's fairly silly. But do you think this was like a Hail Mary?
They brought Joe Montana and Rice back for this because they brought the Russos back, and then they brought Robert Downey Jr. back. So to me, it looked like absolute desperation.
Okay.
Marvel know that they are in shit. They're in massive fucking shit. Their movies have absolutely tanked since Black Widow, since Phase 4 began, since the end of Endgame. Nothing has been massive. Well, you know, now that we've discovered that Doctor Strange had an even much larger budget than that opening weekend, which was just phenomenal, but quickly died because the movie was dog shit. And it went to not hit $1 billion. It hit 900 and something. Probably didn't even make its money back.
Right.
Because it needed to make, it was looking like somewhere in 1.1 billion to break even. It was insane.
Right.
Black Panther 2, again, heavy budget. Did it actually make any profit? Give or take. So it's been a flop. No Way Home, of course, is a Sony movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Marvel only got 25% of that. So they've had flop after flop, and the Marvels, of course, which was Captain Marvel being $1 billion movie, and them all gaslight. I mean, you know, they were gaslighting. We were saying how it was. It was wedged between two of the most important Marvel cinematic movies there's ever been, and two of the biggest movies of all time in terms of cinema revenue. And of course, they were trying to paint the picture that it was, oh no, it's Captain Marvel, girl power, girls get it done. This is what people want. People want all new or different Marvel. And then, of course, the Marvels, oh no, they don't. They don't in the slightest. And when you're trying to build your cinematic universe, whatever you're going to call it, around Brie Larson, and then that all fucks up, and then you want to create your whole villainous universe around what's his name?
Kang.
Jonathan Majors. That's all gone to shit.
Mm-hmm.
So they had no direction. They had no stars. No stars. There was nobody who was anywhere close to Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans. Hemsworth is pissed with Thor. He's mad after the last cockering of Thor, which again failed miserably at the box office. So yeah, they were like, we've got 2 big Marvel Avenger movies coming, which we've announced. Kang Dynasty. Bye. See ya. That's gone. See you later. That's now Doomsday or whatever they're calling this, you know. And Secret Wars. And they knew that nobody was going to turn up. Those movies would have been epic flops. There would have been big, heavy production movies, big, heavy budget movies, and nobody would have turned up. And the problem that Marvel still have, and the Russos still have, is that just bringing back the Russos wouldn't have been enough because the lineup is garbage.
Yep, we talked about that on last show.
Yeah, so the lineup is garbage. What have you got to play with? So what do you do? I know for a fact that at New York Comic Con, at the Marvel party that they had, because I had a friend there, and the friend told me after the party that they were openly laughing and slagging off the Marvels before it came out, talking about how terrible it was, how Marvel had been using this term skate fast over thin ice, skate quick over thin ice, because they knew that's why they were just cutting it down to nothing is trash. And after the screening, the final screening, one of the first questions that was asked in the room was, how do we get Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans back? How do we get them back? Well, we've kind of had an answer to both of those questions now, because we had Chris Evans in Deadpool. Yeah, he wasn't playing Captain America, he's playing Johnny Storm, because he was Johnny Storm in the Fox Fantastic Four. And now we're going to get Robert Downey Jr. coming back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they do say Victor Von Doom, not Doctor Doom, and this is Stark, but there's got to be some sort of Stark connection here.
It'd be too obvious. There's no way and that's where I lean towards. I don't think that, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but those are obviously the only 2 choices, whether he's just going to be Doom or he's going to be basically Iron Man playing as Doom, so some sort of Stark connection. So I lean towards the latter. It has to be the case.
It's to me complete and utter desperation. They needed a pop, and they needed a headline,
and they got it.
And they got it.
Yeah,
they definitely got that. But in terms of how good it's going to be, how excited I am.
And was it I can't remember if it was Variety, Hollywood Reporter, or one of those? They all running each other as far as the reporting, at least in my mind. I get it. They're different entities. But they were talking about how much in the last 3 movies that Stark, look at me calling them that, Robert Downey Jr. made. And it was like $600 million or something crazy like that. And I was like, was that why he was phased out? Like they just simply couldn't afford him anymore? And look, and I don't know, but I guess they can now because they're throwing money at him, and they had to. I mean, they had to throw him something crazy in order for him to agree to come back. Because I mean, he has all the leverage. He has every bit of the leverage. They need him. He doesn't need them at this stage. So it's interesting to see. We'll keep tabs on obviously how it plays out. But yeah, old me when I was covering the MCU left to right and everything that's going on in comics. Wouldn't have been a fan of that. I think that was a needless direction to go in bringing him back as Doom. It should have probably cast someone else in that role. You kind of knew it was going to be an inevitable thing with Doom being there, definitely with the Fantastic Four being introduced. That was an inevitable thing, but him playing him wasn't not a fan by any means. And to your point, they have him. We know who the Fantastic Four is, but that's still they have. I don't know when though, because didn't they say 2020? What did they say? 2026? Is that the first Avengers one is going to come out? So they got a lot of work to do to get there, right? Because I know we talked about it last week. No matter who's writing it or directing it, I don't think the Russos wrote the last one. I think they directed those Avenger movies that they were a part of. Nonetheless, you still have to have like a stable to work with. And are you going to do an Avengers movie? And it sounded like that was exactly what they were going to be doing, was one centered around Captain Black, Falcon, America Man, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, perhaps, and some of the other characters that maybe nobody, Ironheart, right? Some of these other characters that nobody actually cares about. So I'd imagine that there's going to be some sort of slight pivot, but how much time do they have to get there to where they present? Because if that's going to be the first Avengers movie, even if Doom's in there, who's going to be the heroes per se, and are they going to be characters that people can get interested in? If that's going to be the case, they got a lot of work to do in just basically a year.
Well, this was going to be the Kang dynasty, however you're pronouncing, whichever country you live in. So whatever movie this is, it's slipshod put together. It's roughshod. It's not thought about. They're literally just throwing something out there. Kang's gone. Jonathan Majors is gone. We need something. Fuck it, Robert Downey Jr. I hear that they're paying him in excess of $80 million. Same with the Russos, in excess. So $160 million has gone to the Russo brothers and to Robert Downey Jr. So this movie, that's before it's had any production
That's
budget.
before anything else. Anything else. So that thing's in the hole by a lot, bros.
So it's probably a $400 to $500 million movie, which means it needs to do somewhere in the region of $1.5 billion to break even. We are talking absolute insanity. If you don't think that is Desperation, I don't know what you think Desperation is.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to head over to Rippaverse.com to check out our comic book company. We have books, plenty of merchandise, and even some glorious animations from Rippaverse Studios.